Then morning, morning. So there wasn't a class last Wednesday because I was catching up with a yoga teacher friend of mine. And I used to, pre-COVID, drive down to Wickham every Saturday and do her class. And then during COVID, I did her class every Saturday morning via Zoom, and I've done it on and off when I'm not doing my regular yoga class. So we've seen each other pretty regularly, but we've worked out we hadn't seen each other face to face since before COVID, which was shocking when we were thinking about it. And we came up with the usual, oh, I've been so busy, I've got so much on, I'm so busy. And then we stopped and went, oh my goodness, how easy it is to say these words, I'm busy. And it's almost become a stock response, hasn't it? When people ask you how you are, like, busy, how are you? Busy, busy, busy. This curse of busyness. And one of my other yoga teachers is Chinese, and she was telling me about the word for busy in Chinese, which is mang. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but mang. Now, the character for the word mang, or busy in Chinese, is made up of two separate characters, which combined make up the single word busy. Now, if you separate those two characters, they mean heart death. That's what it translates as, heart death. Bizarre. So busy, quite literally, is made up of the word heart death in Chinese. So my friend and I were talking about this, and rather than thinking about it literally, which is very scary, and there is some truth in that perhaps, we were thinking about in a more esoteric way that when we get very busy or feel that we're very busy or overwhelmed, the first thing that goes are the things that brings our heart joy. Reading a book, going for a walk, watching our favourite film, meeting up with friends. We kind of lose those things that bring our heart literally joy. So today, in this nice chilled out flow, go with the flow, allow yourself the time to enjoy the postures. There's no sense of rushing, no sense of haste, no sense of busyness, no sense that you ought to be anticipating the next move. So lots of lovely heart openers as well. So hopefully we can bring our hearts a little bit of joy this morning. Isn't that interesting? Busy means heart death in Chinese. Oh, think about that next time you say the word. We're going to come to lie down on our backs this morning. So ease your way down, give your knees a squeeze, and just start a gentle rocking motion, or maybe circle your knees round. And if you've had a bit of a break from the mat, take it easy, just enjoy this first chance to come back and enjoy a stretch coming back into your body. When you've released the low back, let's bring the feet to the floor. I'm going to keep my knees bent this morning. Take my feet nice and wide and then rest my knees against each other. But if you want to stretch your legs out, if your back feels comfortable in that position, go ahead. The arms might be down by the side of the body with the palms facing up. You might have a hand on your chest, a hand on your belly, whatever feels comfortable. I'm just going to come to sit up so I can talk to you. So take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, let go of any sense of busyness. Any busyness that might have surrounded you this morning as you rush to get to practice. Maybe you've had a busy start to the week. Or maybe you've got lots of things planned for the rest of the day or the rest of the week. Just taking this time to let go of that feeling of the need to rush, the need to hurry. And I'll offer you another beautiful word instead, which is a Bulgarian word, ailyak. Ailyak. That means the subtle art of doing everything calmly and without rushing, whilst enjoying the experience and life in general. So rather than busyness, maybe we can take that beautiful word and definition into the rest of our week. The art of doing everything calmly and without rushing. A great way to calm down our nervous system is to use our breath. So let's start to deepen and lengthen the breath now. Just noticing where you're feeling the sensations of the breath in the body this morning. Might be chest and the belly. Shoulders might be moving a little. Maybe a little bit of expansion in the lower back that you can become aware of. And when we become busy, anxious, overwhelmed, we tend to lose that capacity to breathe deeply. It's almost like the equivalent of unplugging and rebooting our computer. This gives our nervous system, when we slow down our breath, a chance to reset. So keeping with that calm and steady frame of mind, we'll bring the arms down by the side of the body. And anytime you want to change the position of your legs, go ahead as we start to move into the shoulders. So just the right arm, we're going to reach all the way up and maybe bring it all the way back behind you till the back of the hand touches the floor. And then just sweep the arm all the way back down by the side. And then the other side, so you reach up, you can stay pointing up or reach the arm all the way back. Get a good stretch through that left side. And then coming all the way down. Adding that all-important breath as you inhale, right arm reaches up and back. And exhale to come all the way back down. And then the left arm, as you inhale, stretching back. And exhale to release. And then this time, both arms, reaching up and back as you inhale, softening the rib cage so we're not arching the upper back. And exhale, both arms, pressing back down by the side. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, right arm reaches back. Get that bit stretch. And exhale, bring it down. Other side, so you might notice as you move that left arm that maybe there's a little difference in the side of the body. And then moving both arms in synchronicity as you inhale. And exhale. Now you can stick with that, just coming straight up and straight down. Or we're going to take that right arm up and back as you inhale. And now take it out to the side like you're drawing a big half snow angel. The back of the hand hovers off the floor as you bring the arm all the way back down by the side of you. And then left arm, take an inhale, reach back. And then take it out to the side, palm up to the ceiling as you scoop the arm all the way out and back down by the side. And then both arms, inhale. And then a big snow angel movement as you bring the arms back down. Lovely. Let's do that one more time. Right arm, inhale. And then however you want to return that arm down by the side, either straight back down or out to the side. And then the left arm reaching back. And then that half snow angel. And then both arms. Last time, big reach back. That lovely expansive movement, swooping the arms all the way back down by the side of you. And then go ahead and squeeze those knees in towards your chest. One hand on each knee. And again, have a little rock. Have a little movement side to side. And then coming to stillness with one hand on each knee. Let's take 3 circles in both directions. So guiding those knees round. The hands are steering the knees, so see if you can really relax your legs as you let the arms take the legs around in a circle. And if you change direction, we'll do 3 little movements in each direction. It might be a big movement, might be a smaller movement this morning. And then keeping those knees scooped in towards your belly, keep them scooped in as you bring the arms out level with your shoulders. Any back issues, you can always bring your feet down to the floor. I'm going to bring both knees over to the right. Bringing them down, down, down to the floor. Now you can keep those knees scooped up high towards your chest or slide them a little bit away from you until you get nice and comfy. And then stretch the arms out, reaching out through the fingertips. Now this top leg, this left leg, you can keep it as it is. Or as you inhale, we're going to straighten that top leg. So the knees stay roughly together. You just straighten the top leg. And then you bend both knees. So as you inhale, you straighten that left leg away from you. Stretching the heel away, and then you bend the knee. So the knees stay roughly on the same level as we do that one more time. Left leg straightens. And then keeping the knees bent, go ahead and bring that right hand down on your top knee or thigh. Both knees bent. Just enjoying that twist. The right hand might be on your knee, your thigh, or you can keep it reached out. Maybe turn your gaze over that left arm for that last little twist in the upper back and into the neck. And we'll reach both arms out to the side. Use the core to bring those knees back in. Now we're going to do those 3 little circles again. You can bring the hands onto the knees, or this time keep the arms outstretched. And take those 3 circles in each direction. If you've got your arms reaching out to the side, it's a lot more work on the core. And the further away you take your knees in that circle, the harder the work. You'll feel some arching through the back, so go easy. 3 circles one way, and then 3 in the opposite direction. Either moving freestyle with the arms outstretched, or just using the hands for a little bit more support and guidance. And you've done that last circle, bringing the knees back up and in towards your chest, and we'll take that little twist over to the left this time. So again, you can hug those knees up towards you. You can stretch them away from you as you reach the arms out. Closer the knees are towards your belly, the deeper the stretch. So this top leg, this right leg this time, we're going to inhale and straighten the legs, so knees roughly together. And exhale, you rebend back into that twist. We'll do that twice more. So as you straighten that leg, might not be completely straight. Maybe feel a big stretch in the outer thigh and in the hip. We'll do one more, stretching away. Then bringing both knees bent into that twist, left hand on your top knee or thigh, gently pressing them down as maybe you look over that right arm. Just take a couple of breaths there, breathing into wherever you feel that twist, lower back, middle back, maybe a little bit in the upper back and the neck if you've turned your head. Then coming all the way back with those legs, bringing the feet down to the floor now, hip width apart and the arms down by the side of the body. Snuggle those heels in close towards you. Coming into a little shoulder bridge, so as you press into your feet, start to lift the hips up off the floor, light touch beneath your fingertips, so you're using the back body to lift up, and then roll your way back down. No rush as you work through each little vertebrae one at a time. So inhale, we push up as high as feels comfortable, pressing into your toes. And exhale, take your time to roll the spine down. We'll do one more like that. So as you inhale, pressing into all 4 corners of the feet so the toes stay flat to the floor. And then rolling your way down. We're going to see if we can get into those 3 different parts of the spine now. So as you inhale, we're going to lift the hips up. And as you exhale, just lower your upper back. So coming down just to roughly between your shoulder blades. Pause and take an inhale. Exhale, just your middle back. So coming down roughly towards the waistband of your trousers. Pause, take another breath in. And then exhale, release the rest of your spine, the lower back to the mat. Do that again. So inhale, we push up. Exhale, just the upper back. Take that breath in. Then just the middle back. Can you roll your way down just to the waistband? Take an inhale. And then the rest of the spine. Let's do that one more time. You might notice in this last one, there might be a few sticky areas of the spine. Maybe one part of your spine feels less mobile than the other. Just see if you can really take your time to tuck the tailbone under as you roll your way down. When your hips touch down this next time, reach out the arms and the legs coming into that full body stretch. Have a little bit of movement there, maybe stretching into the right side and then the left side. Little circles into the wrists and the ankles. Have a bit of intuitive movement there, whatever feels good. And then bringing those knees back in towards you one at a time so you can hug them in towards your chest. You can either roll to one side to seated or cross your ankles and roll your way up. I'm going to sit cross-legged, but you go ahead and adjust if you find that uncomfortable this morning. Hands coming to the heart. And take a moment to press the palms together. So we're sending the elbows out left to right, beginning to engage the muscles across the chest. Lovely. So we're going to start to lift the fingertips up towards the sky. And as you do so, we're sliding the forearms and the elbows towards each other. So the elbows are away from my chest. And then bringing the hands all the way back down, pressing the palms together. So inhale, we come up, squeezing the elbows towards each other. If that's uncomfortable on your wrists too, then you just lighten the pressure beneath your palms. So inhale, sliding up, little variation of eagle arms. And exhale, coming down. We're going to add on. So this time we're going to come up and open the arms into that cactus, elbows drawing back roughly level with your shoulders, and then coming all the way back down to the heart. So as we inhale, we come up and open, squeezing the tips of the elbows back. And then exhale, we come back. Lovely. Let's do that one more time. Tips of the elbows, squeezing back, feeling a little work between the shoulder blades. This time we're going to come up and hold in that cactus, opening up across the chest. And then we'll lower that right arm and take the left arm over the top of the head, coming into that side bend, coming up through the center as you inhale. And take a little tick-tock over to the other side. You can tuck your chin in or look down as we do that one more. Each way, reaching the arm overhead. Lovely stretch through the side body this morning. And the right. You're going to reach both arms up and swing the hands behind you so you can lean into your hands, bringing the feet to the floor about hip width apart and pressing into your hands. You're going to lift the chest up. Maybe take your gaze up. Now you can stay there or begin to slide your bottom towards your heels. Maybe walk your feet a little further away as you come up into an up face plank. That's a lot on the wrists, so feel free to keep the bottom on the floor. If you're with me, see if you can lift your hips a little higher, looking up, not back as you inhale. And exhale, roll your way back down, cross the ankles and give yourself a hug as you round the spine. And then from there, finding your way round onto all fours, hands under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips there. So let's spread those hands nice and wide and pressing into your hands so you can feel again a little engagement through the shoulders and the neck feels nice and long as we come into our cat and our cow. So as we inhale, we're going to lift the chest, lift the tailbone, and then exhale like an angry cat round the back. Closing the eyes here and working slowly as again you try and ripple that movement up and down the spine. Sequentially releasing. Again, those three areas. Rolling your way back and forth. Back loves this movement just to wake up in the morning. Really good for our spinal health. And the next time you're in that rounded back, we're going to pause. And bring your bottom back down towards your heels. Walk the hands forwards in that child pose, coming up onto the tips of your fingers and thumbs, so your elbows and your palms are lifted. And then from there, we're going to lift up halfway and look towards the top of your mat. So we'll take an inhale. And exhale, sink the forehead back down toward the floor. Twice more, so pressing down, chest lifts as you inhale. And exhale, really draw the hips back towards your heels as we do that one more time. Breath in to lift. This time as you exhale, drop down onto your elbows, your forearms, your palms. And so the arms and the shoulders can relax and the forehead towards the floor. So we're going to come into our moving cat-cow. So keeping those forearms in two parallel lines. As you inhale, you come back up onto all fours, peeling those forearms up as you come up. And then as you exhale and come back down into that child pose, come down into your forearms, squeezing those elbows in. So inhaling up, so those elbows have a tendency to flare out to the side. So we're keeping them squeezed in, so we're bringing the elbows down. And the forearms down in two parallel lines. Let's come up, inhale. And back down as you exhale. Do one more like that again, just beginning to wake up the back of the heart. All the way down, and from there we'll come up and find our way onto all fours, hands under shoulders again, so bring those hands in if you need to. So pressing into that left hand, we're going to reach the right arm up, coming into a thread needle, so we'll take an inhale, and as you exhale, really actively reach the arm underneath you, stretching as far away as you can. And then inhale, we reach up, we turn the chest, and then exhale, feed the arm through, see if you can reach a little further away. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. This next time, sliding the back of the hand on the floor away from you as you come down onto the side of your head there. If you've got the left hand by your face, take a moment to maybe just draw that right shoulder away from your ear and lean a little bit into that right shoulder. So much so that maybe you can slide that left leg back behind you. Ball of the foot on the floor, you're pushing the heel away. And maybe again, you can take that little lean into the right shoulder there, deepening the stretch. We're going to keep that left leg extended. Push into the left hand. We're going to take that right arm up to the sky one more time. And then bringing both hands down. Left leg is extended behind you. Just start to roll back and forth over your toes. Getting a nice stretch out through the foot. A bit of engagement through the core there. Now you can either come straight up into a downward dog or tuck the right toes under. I'm going to lift up into a three-legged dog, taking that left leg up. And then bend the knee, drop the heel to the bottom, like a little dog peeing on a lamppost as you stack those hips. And draw 3 big circles with that left knee. You can do this from all fours if it's too much pressure on your wrist to be up in a down dog. 3 nice big circles with the knee. And then we'll meet, bringing both feet underneath you in downward dog. Lowering onto all fours as you inhale. And we'll take that child pose as you exhale, bottom to heels, arms stretched out. Option to stay there. Or again, no rush, back onto all fours as you inhale. Coming down onto your chest as you exhale, elbows hugged in. Healing back up, take a breath in. And coming back into that child pose. We're going to do that twice more. So taking your time to really release the body sequentially down, the thighs, the belly and the chest. And then we reverse that, the chest, the belly and the thighs peel up and back. Do that one more time. So release down, hugging those elbows in, and then all the way back up. And we'll meet in child pose, bottom towards your heels. And then from there, start to walk your hands towards your knees and come and sit up on your heels. So if this is uncomfortable in hero pose, you just stretch the legs out in front of you. That's no problem at all. You're going to bring the right hand down by the side of you. Just move your hips slightly over to the left as you take that left arm up and over. And maybe you stay there, or you might need to slide that right arm a little further away so you can push the hips forwards and maybe extend that left leg, drawing the top arm back as you find that lovely stretch through the side body. And then we'll come all the way back down to swap sides, left hand down, right arm up and over. Maybe staying there, or again, pushing the hips forwards, extending that right leg as you draw the top arm back. And sweeping the arm all the way back down. Let's do one more each way. So left arm sweeps up, maybe taking that left leg out. Oh, it's such a lovely stretch. We come down. And then other side, reaching through the right side. And then coming all the way back down and back onto all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. So let's do that thread needle on the other side. This time it's going to be the left arm. We rise up, inhale, and feed the arm underneath as you exhale. So again, if you can stretch your fingertips away. And inhale, reaching up over the chest. And then all the way underneath as you exhale. Last time, inhale. This time as you exhale, we slide the hand away from you. So you come down onto the side of the head there. The right hand's just alongside the face, and you take that little lean into your left shoulder now. Again, so much so you might be able to slide the right leg back behind you this time. So I'm not lifting the leg, I've got the ball of the foot on the floor for stability. So again, I can just lean a little further into that shoulder. I'm going to keep that right leg where it is as you take the left arm back up towards the ceiling, reaching up. And both hands coming back underneath you. And again, take that moment just to rock and roll over the ball of the foot there, stretching out through the foot, the toes. Now we're going to come up into that three-legged dog. So you can either come into downward dog and then lift the leg, or tuck the left toes under and lift that right leg up into your three-legged dog. Bending the knee so you can point the knee up towards the ceiling, stacking the hips. Or take those 3 big circles with the knee, so you can do this from all fours. Nice big circles into the hip. And then we'll meet in our downward dog. Now knowing you can drop back down onto all fours, Or this time, we're going to roll forwards to a plank as you inhale, pause as you press into your hands, and then exhale, bring your knees down and your chest. Coming up into that little baby cobra, so hug the elbows back as you peel the chest up, breath in, and breathing out to lower. Hands by the ribs as you push back up onto all fours, and from there, coming back into that child pose. Lovely, and then from that child pose, coming all the way back up. Coming into that hero pose, sitting up on your hips, right hand down. Sweep the left arm forwards and up, and maybe extend that left leg, drawing the top arm back. Got no room, nooking into my bookshelf. And then the other side, so you can keep the hips down and just get that lovely side stretch instead. And coming all the way back down. Let's do one more each way. So either with or without that lovely extension through the side body by taking the leg out to the side, you're still going to get a side stretch. Last time. Over to the left. Coming all the way back down. Again, back onto all fours, this time with the toes tucked under. So as we inhale, we're going to lift the head, lift the heart. And as you exhale, start to move the hips up and back, or meet in a downward dog. Just start to pedal the feet out this time. Maybe moving the hips from side to side. Bending one knee and then the other. So keeping it nice and loose in that downward dog as you send your rib cage towards your thighs and your bottom up on that diagonal at the peak of a mountain. And finding a moment of stillness in that downward dog, maybe a bend in your knees this morning as you push those heels back and down. And looking between your hands, we're going to bend both knees. And as you inhale, step or help that right foot forwards and lower the back knee. Beautiful. From there, we'll sweep the arms up towards the sky. As you find your crescent lunge, you can keep the arms apart or interlace the hands and free up your index fingers. So you're pointing up towards the ceiling. We'll take an inhale. As you exhale, take a little bend over to the right side, keeping that front knee forwards. Through the middle as you inhale, up arms by your ears as you come over in the opposite direction. And then we'll come all the way back up. You can keep the arms pointing straight up. We'll start to lift your chest and maybe you draw the arms back like you're drawing a little line on the ceiling with your index fingers. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, swim the hands down. We're going to place them on either side of that front foot, ready for a twist. Right arm peels up. Sorry, I've been plunged into darkness, my light bulb is popped. And then bring both hands to the inside of the front foot. Going to glue that knee against your upper arm and take the left arm up to the sky this time. Ooh. Lovely, coming all the way back down. Bringing your knee back underneath you or take an inhale. And as you exhale, bottom to heels, taking that child pose. Take that moment to catch your breath. We're going to try all of that on the other side. So coming forwards and up onto all fours, toes tuck, knees and hips lift up off the mat as you come into your downward facing dog. And again, a little moment to move your hips. And then we'll do that little ditty on the other side. So as you bend your knees and look forwards, this time as you inhale, left foot, step or help it forwards and lower the back knee. Sweeping the arms up, so you're quite active through that front foot and through the back shin. So I'm not collapsing there, I'm pushing down into the mat, interlacing the hands as you free up the index fingers and point up towards the sky. We'll take an inhale. Maybe to the left this time, keeping that front knee still. Inhale to center, and then over to the other side, a little bit of balance challenge. Inhale to center. And again, we can stay there. Or start to lift the chest and maybe draw that little line on the ceiling back behind you, coming into a tiny back bend. We'll take an inhale and swim the hands down as you exhale. So ready for that twist on the left side. So right hand stays on the floor, left arm peels up towards the sky. And then both hands come to the inside of that front foot. And this time we're going to take that right arm up. So see if you can hug your knee against your upper arm, so hip opener as well as a twist. We'll come all the way back, sliding back onto all fours. And this time we'll tuck the toes, lift the hips straight back up into our downward dog. And then start to walk your feet towards your hands. So we'll meet in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Maybe cradling your elbows. Just allow the body to melt down. That forward fold, take a little sway, perhaps side to side, so the body feels really heavy and the hamstrings. Taking the heat out of them by bending those knees. Then we'll release the arms. Slowly start to roll your way up to stand. Take your time, or just adjust the camera a little bit. Beautiful. Now either keep the arms down by the side of you if you're feeling a little bit dizzy, or sweeping those arms up. Let's take an inhale. And hands coming down to hearts. Beautiful. So for some reason, my brain finds this next move really quite hard, but I don't know why, because we're not doing very much. See how you go. So we're going to reach the right arm up. And I say we're not doing very much. It's not overly complicated, but it is actually giving us a lovely stretch. Now really reach up through the fingertips. So someone is pulling you up towards the sky. Now the same knee, you're just going to bend, but the heel stays on the floor. And see if you can reach up, and there's a tiny side bend, but think about reaching up more than over. Beautiful. And then release. I always want to bend the opposite knee, and then left arm reaches up. Think about reaching up as you drop the knee and reach up a little taller. And then release. So right arm, right knee. So the heel stays on the floor. So we're stretching through the right side. And then one more on the left side, bending the knee, reaching up. Let's do one more. So it's a lovely one to stretch out through the hip and stretching the lowermost regions of the ankle as well. You can feel it as you drop the knee. Lovely, keeping both knees straight. We're going to arrow both arms up this time. And then swimming the hands behind you, either hands onto your bottom or we'll interlace them behind you. Knuckles draw down, opening up through the chest. Now drop the knees a lot as you start to bend at the hips, sending the hips, the body forwards, hips back. Maybe the arms lift up and over. If your shoulders don't like that, just bring the arms down in front of you. Lovely, releasing those arms. Let's sweep the arms all the way forwards and up as you rise up to stand. Inhale. And hands to heart, exhale. So we're at the top of our mat. Inhale, reaching up. Let's start to flow. Exhale as we fold, coming all the way down. Sliding the hands to your shins or your thighs so you can lift up halfway as you breathe in. And then bringing the hands behind the legs to tuck in a little tighter in that forward fold. And then we'll rise on an in-breath, reaching the arms up. And hands coming to heart. Lovely. Twice more like that. Inhale, reaching up tall. And then a generous bend in the knees as you come down. Hands to the shins, or maybe above or below your shins as you lift up halfway. And then hands just behind the legs to help you draw it a little tighter. Rising up as you inhale, reaching the arms. And hands to heart. Lovely. One more like that, our half sun salute. Beginning to draw a little energy and warmth into the body. Lifting up halfway. So it's almost like a little cow pose, a little arching of the back as you bring the chest forwards. And then we hug in a little tighter as you exhale, rising on up. And hands to heart. Lovely. Getting ready to move and build up on this as you flow this next time. Exhale, we come down. Lifting up halfway. And this time as you exhale, plant the hands and step back into your downward facing dog. I can stay there in your downward dog or roll to a plank with me as you inhale. Knees lifted or lowered, yogi's choice, slowly down onto your belly. No rush, we'll find a cobra. Or maybe it's an upward dog if that feels good this morning. We'll meet in downward dog, but those little flows are optional there. From your downward dog, just bend your right knee and stretch back through that left heel. You're going to float that right leg up to the sky. Coming onto the board of the underneath foot, we'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, step or help that right foot forwards. Now we're going to set up for a warrior one. So hip width apart with the feet, back toes turned out. So when we rise on up to stand, we've got the hips and the heart towards the top of the mat. Beautiful. Bringing the hands to the heart as you bend that front knee and pressing out through the heel of the back foot. Gorgeous. So coming back to that little arm sequence we did at the beginning. So as we inhale, we're going to lift up and out into that cactus. And then as you exhale, we bring the hands back to the heart. So we'll do that twice more. Fingertips slide up, and then we open up through the arms. And then coming all the way back down. Lovely. One more time. So inhale. Squeeze of the elbows back behind you. Now this time we're going to come up and hold in that cactus. And then straightening the arms behind you, we can interlace the hands behind the back. And reach down towards that back foot with your knuckles. Open up through the chest, and maybe you stay there. Or we start to hinge forwards, bringing the belly to the inside of that front leg. Arms coming up and over into a humble warrior. Now if that's too much, bring both hands onto that right knee and give yourself a little bit more support there. Otherwise, we're bowing down over the legs, looking towards the back of the mat as the arms lift up and away from your back. Beautiful. Release the arms. And then coming back up into your warrior. Reaching those arms up. Now, a little bit of balance challenge. I'm sorry, Barry, you've got it all going on. You're going to take a little pivot on that back foot. So we're on the ball of that back foot, all 10 toes pointing in the same direction. Lovely. Now we can slide in, we can step in. We're going to bring that left knee up and in towards your chest. Take your time. And as you bring the hands to the heart, we're going to open up into tree pose with that left leg. So you can go ahead and reach the hands down, bringing that foot above your knee or keep it below your knee, no problem. Take a moment to find your balance. And maybe you want to stay here. You can always hold on to a piece of furniture. Or slowly does it, we take the arms up and then draw a big circle all the way back and meet at the heart. And then just change directions with that circle all the way up and all the way down to the heart. Just need to turn myself on the mat. Lovely. Now we're going to reach both arms up to the sky. Point that left knee forwards. And can you step back into your high lunge? So take that left leg back. Again, take your time landing on the ball of the foot. We're going to reach the arms up, take an inhale. And exhale, bringing both hands down. Beautiful. We're going to take that right leg all the way up and back into a three-legged dog. Now, either from a downward dog or with the leg lifted, we're going to roll to a plank, lowering that foot as you bring the weight forwards. And exhale, come down onto your belly. You can always miss this bit out. Inhale as you rise up. And exhale, we'll meet in downward facing dog. You can always have a little moment of pause and child pose. I'll just swap legs. Gorgeous. Let's try that on the other side. So we're going to bend that left knee this time. Really take a moment to stretch that right heel back, push your rib cage towards your thighs. And then we'll take that left leg up to the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale, step or help it forwards. And again, setting up for that warrior one. So it's not a great wide stance, not as wide as warrior two. And as you rise on up, you notice your hips are kind of skewing off on a diagonal. Just think about moving that back foot slightly more up to the side. Arms reach up, bending into that front knee. When you've established that nice solid base, we'll bring the hands all the way back down to the heart, ready for that little cactus sequence. So as we inhale, we draw the elbows up and out, and exhaling, hands down to the heart. That's it, beautiful, twice more. So keep strong in the legs as you feel that lovely stretch across the chest and into the upper back. And hands to heart, last time. Beautiful. So we're going to come up and hold in our little cactus, and then from there extending the arms back behind you, interlacing the hands. Knuckles draw down as you inhale, and then finding your humble warrior. So again, you can bring both hands onto that left knee for a little bit of support, or lift both arms up and over and gaze towards the back of the mat. If you're in humble warrior, kind of bringing our belly towards the inside of that front thigh. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly release the arms. We're going to find our way back up into that warrior and see if you can have that little pivot on the back foot. So all 10 toes pointing in the same direction. So this time we're going to push off that left foot. See if you can bring that right knee up and in towards your chest. And from there, find your tree pose. knee pointing out to the side as you bring the hands to the heart. You can always use the floor for support, remember. Option to stay there, or we're going to take the arms up and then draw again like that big snow angel that we did at the beginning, out to the side and then back to the heart. And we just change direction. We draw the arms down and then reach up, up, up. And then bringing them back down to the heart. Lovely. We're going to reach the arms up as you point that knee forwards. Now moving slowly, no rushing, step that right leg back into your high lunge. Reaching up as you inhale. And exhale, bringing the hands down, either a downward dog or three-legged dog with that left leg. And then rolling forwards to plank. Exhale as you lower down onto your tummy. Finding your cobra or your upward dog. Take a moment now to find a child pose, maybe knees are wide, hands stacked one on top of the other. Elbows opening out, just allowing the chest to soften, or feel free to keep the knees in parallel. And taking these moments of pause to just again reconnect with our breath, take care that our mind is still on our practice. And then reaching both arms out in front of you. Let's find our way back up onto all fours and back up into our downward facing dog. From our downward dog, right leg lifts up. This time as you step or help it forward, we're going to drop the back heel in, so we're in a warrior two. So it's a wider stance. And as we open up through the arms, we've got the hips and the heart facing the long edge of the mat this time. That's it. Beautiful. Front foot in the middle of your mat. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can sink a little bit deeper. And then this right arm, we're going to offer it all the way up and back, coming into your reverse warrior. And then as you come forwards into side angle, right forearm to thigh, right hand on your lower belly and left hand on your low back. So that right hand, a reminder to draw your tummy in, and the left hand, a reminder to draw your hips forwards rather than sticking your bottom back. And then you can keep that left hand where it is or reach it up and over the top as you find your side angle, stretching out from your fingertips all the way to the outside edge of that back heel. Beautiful. Coming back up into your warrior. And then we'll straighten both legs as you take that right arm all the way up and back. Beautiful. Coming back down into your warrior. And then turning all 10 toes forwards. If you're very wide in your stance, you might want to shorten the stance. You're going to sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, drop the heels in, the toes out as you bring the hands down to your heart, coming into your little goddess again. Tailbone tucked under. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach up. This time we part the arms into that lovely cactus again. Palms spread nice and wide. Inhale, reaching up. And hands drawing down to heart as you exhale, sinking deep into those legs. Lovely grounding posture. Inhale. And exhaling, cactus last time. This time we'll arrow the arms up, turn all 10 toes forwards again. And getting ready to hinge forwards into your forward fold. Maybe hands on the thighs, you can bring them onto your shins or reaching the floor. And then again, almost like that little cow pose move, you come up onto your fingertips, you lift the chest as you inhale. And as you exhale, can you find a little bit more depth in that forward fold? Maybe you bring the hands to the outside of the legs. Maybe walk the hands back behind you, between the legs with your fingertips pointing away from you. Whatever feels right for your body today. You can keep your head lifted if you're feeling a little dizzy from that. Then we'll all walk the hands forwards underneath your shoulders. Now look towards that right foot. Then turn on the toes, walking your hands around to frame that front foot. So we're in a little lunge. Again, we're going to take that right leg all the way up and back into a three-legged dog. And then this time, bending the knee, bringing that knee forwards towards your chest, bringing your knee behind that right wrist. And the right shin is going to be diagonally placed across your mat as you find your pigeon pose. So sliding that left leg back behind you. tucking any toes. And if this is uncomfortable, you can either deeply bend both knees, hips square to the top of the mat, or even lie on your back with your right ankle hooked over your left. You've got that left leg straight behind you, have a little peek behind you, making sure that it really is in line with your hip. Then coming forwards with your chest. And maybe you stay here up on your fingertips, maybe you come down onto your forearms, maybe you make a little pillow for your head. Again, you can do all of this with both knees very deeply bent, just taking a little hinge forwards, depending on how hips feel. If you're in that full pigeon pose, offering the body forwards, maybe forehead resting on hands or the floor. Take a couple of breaths and allow the body to settle. It's a strong pose, so expect some strong sensations in the hip, trying to roll that left hip forwards. And after a while, as the muscles begin to release, you might be able to tuck your back toes under, lift the left knee, and take a little wiggle back with your foot. And then lower the knee and flatten the toes, just opening up a bit more space in the front of the hip. We're trying not to roll all our body weight onto that right buttock. Just a few more breaths there. When you're ready to come out, let's come back up onto our hands, our palms flat to the floor. Now, there are lots of different ways to come out of this one, but I choose to tuck my back toes, lift the knee, really push into my hands so I can lift that right knee up and take it back into a downward dog. And have a little movement there. Sometimes it's nice to lift the leg and circle again like we did before. Let's turn myself round, or you can just sway and pedal out through the feet, take a child pose, whatever you need to do before we come to the other side. So let's finish this off. Left leg to the sky. Let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, step or help it forwards, dropping that back heel in, ready for our warrior two. So walking that front foot between your hands as you open up through the arms. So this time we've got our left foot forwards. That's it. Take your time, Sue. We'll take an inhale. As you exhale, sink a little deeper. This time it's that left arm that arcs all the way up and back. And then coming forward, left forearm to thigh, hand on the lower belly, and right hand on the back. Again, that reminder to tuck our tailbone under and draw in through the belly. Then maybe that right arm arcs up and back, over the top of the head, if that feels good. Lovely, coming back up into our warrior. And then straighten both legs as you take that left arm all the way up. Lovely, coming back into your warrior. Turning the toes forwards. And again, as you rise up with the arms, if you're very long in your stance, just walk the feet in a little. We're taking an inhale. And as you exhale, heels in, toes out, hands to heart, ready for our little goddess sequence. Lovely, inhale, rise up. Into that cactus. So imagine you're sliding the back down a wall behind you. So we're not pushing the hips back behind us. Inhale. And exhale, coming a little deeper now. Pushing those knees out and back. Last time for that little cactus. So the knees are tracking towards the little toe edge of your foot. Inhale, reaching up, turning the toes forwards. And exhale, coming down into your fold. Lifting up halfway as you inhale. Again, maybe trying something different, taking hold around your legs. You can always hook your big toes with your first two fingers, take the elbows out wide and draw yourself in. Lots of little variations. Or conversely, keep yourself up on your fingertips or bring your hands onto your thighs, whatever feels good this morning. Lovely. We'll come up onto our fingertips so the chest is lifted a little bit. We're going to look towards that left foot, take a little pivot on the toes, so all 10 toes are pointing the long edge of your mat as your hands frame that left foot. Left leg up to the sky. And we'll bend the knee, bring that knee forwards to your chest, angling that knee behind the wrist, shin diagonally across your mat. Sliding that right leg back behind you, ready for pigeon on the other side. Remember, you can lie on your back and cross your left ankle over your right knee. Check that that right leg is in line with your hip. And then coming back to the front of your mat, you can stay on your fingertips, you can come down onto your elbows, you can rest your forehead on your hands, trying not to roll all your body weight onto that left buttock, so you're trying to roll that right hip forward slightly. Then you can do all of this with both knees deeply bent and just easing the body forwards in a modification called deer pose, so whatever feels good. If you're with me with that right leg extended straight back, you might lift your knee as you tuck your toes under. Kind of slide or wiggle the leg a little further away from you. So as you lower the knee and flatten your foot, you feel you've created a little bit more space in the front of the hip. Just take a couple of breaths there. Big muscles, big sensations. Couple more breaths then. Slowly, bring yourself back up onto your palms. This time we'll lean into that left buttock so you can sweep the other leg around in front of you and extend both legs. Give them a little shake. And then sweeping the arms up. We'll take an inhale and exhale, folding down over the legs. Maybe you can reach your toes, maybe you want to bend your knees and wrap the arms behind the back of the thighs there if that feels good. Just take a moment to allow the body to sink and soften. Slowly walk on the way up. Picking your way down to lie on your back. Or bring both knees with you. And again, as you lie on your back, maybe again you have that little rock or roll softly from side to side. And then keeping the knees hugged in towards your chest, or bring the arms out level with your shoulders. And tip the knees over to the right side, just like we did at the beginning. Coming into that little twist. Or you might just want to stay there, or this top leg, this left leg, is straighten. This time I'm going to see if we can hold it straight. Knees roughly level. You might bring that right hand down to rest on your top thigh, your shin. Some of you might be able to reach your left foot with your right hand. And my underneath waist has kind of sunk into the floor there. So I'm going to try and stretch my top hip away from me, keeping a little bit of space or creating a little bit of space between my underneath waist and the floor. If that's too much, it's a strong stretch on your outer thigh. Keep both knees bent and just enjoy that twist. You've got that top leg straight and you're holding it somewhere. Slowly release, bending both knees. And we'll come back onto our backs. And we'll swap sides, but this time legs come over to the left with both knees deeply bent. You can stay there. Or this time it's the top leg, the right leg that straightens. Left hand on your thigh, your shin, you might reach your foot. And we're stretching that top hip away from you. So you just feel that your underneath waist has lifted a little bit from the floor. You're extending that top leg, slowly let it go. Bend both knees and roll back onto your back with both hands on the knees. And bringing both hands onto your right knee, bring your left foot down to the floor. And if you can, slide it away from you, hugging that right knee up and in towards your chest. So you're pushing that left heel gently down into the mat. As you release through the low back, getting that lovely stretch. And then we'll swap sides, left knee comes up and in, right leg, you can keep the knee bent or you can slide the leg away from you. Heel is resting on the floor, toes pulling back towards your face. And from there, release both legs out in front of you. Reach both arms back behind you into that full body stretch. Maybe have a little wiggle and a jiggle on the mat there, reaching into one side of the body and then the other, arching of the back, or whatever feels good. Before slowly lowering those arms down by the side of you, palms up to the sky or a hand on the chest, a hand on the belly. The legs are straight, let those toes just roll out to the side, opening up across the hips, or feel free to rebend your knees. Feet wide, with the knees touching to release the back. I'm just going to come up to seated, which is also an option. Allowing a moment for the body to soften and release completely. Power of movement. Hour of reconnecting with ourselves, an hour of not having to think or do anything for anyone other than ourselves. The body and the mind will thank us for it. Taking that time, kind of refill our own cups before we rush around and do the same for other people. So allowing now the shoulders to release away from your ears as you just try and relax your upper body down to the mat. Relaxing your face, so feeling the space between your eyebrows begin to broaden as you just let go of any frowning or any expressions of thought. Face is soft, the jaw relaxed. As you begin again to enjoy that full belly breathing, drawing the breath deep down into those lowermost regions of your lungs, really allowing the belly. We can hold a lot of stress when we become busy or anxious, allowing the belly to rise and fall with the breath. Before we proceed with the rest of the day, reminding ourselves of that counter pose to endlessly rushing and busyness, that beautiful word, ailyak. And we bring a little bit of that energy to the rest of our day, the rest of the week. The subtle art of doing everything calmly without rushing, whilst enjoying the experience and life in general. As you bring a little bit of movement back into your fingers, your toes, really embodying that spirit as you move slowly, no rushing. Maybe reaching the arms back, extending the legs, having one more lovely full body stretch if that feels good. Hugging the knees in towards your chest. And rolling and turning to line with the side. coming up to seated when you're ready. Take your time. There's no rush. Hands to the heart. Dropping the chin down. Lengthening the back of the neck. Let's take one lovely, slow, unhurried breath in as you reach the arms out and up. And exhaling, drawing the hands down to your hearts. A little bow to one another for sharing the practice and wishing each of us an ailyak filled week. And namaste. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, team.
Thank you, Helen.
There we go.